We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thính, vì thứ pháp hội gặp nhớ thiết chúng sanh, thính duyên diệu pháp giao đạo hạ môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạo lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sananto Sư Chế Đô Ye Ở La Hờ Đi San Mèo San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Tát Lạc Tha Tô Già Đà Già La Đề Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai jian wan jie nan zhao yu wo jin die wen de xiao qu yuan jie ru lai zhe shi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Sutra, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good known advisors of Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、智者大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识、弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Trí Gia Đại sư, Thượng Thiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị trí thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 26th of October 2024. Thank you for joining our discussion of the Vimalakirti Sutra at Go Force. I'm glad you're all here. We are on slide 121. This is very first chapter, the introduction of the sutra, this very famous sutra, Vimalakirti. If you study this sutra, you can become enlightened without having to become a monk or nun. That's a general interest. This is why my late Chinese master said, I'm going to explain the sutra because no one want to become a monk or nun. Guess what? Great Master YongHua. All my Korean disciples are becoming monks and nuns. We have no more lay disciples left in Korea. See, so this sutra must have a big part in that. Anyway, so there are 32,000 bodhisattvas in attendance. And not just any bodhisattva, these are the big shots among the bodhisattvas. So we're describing, the sutra here tells us about the state of these, what I would call Buddhist idols. Never mind. Okay, so these are the standards of excellence for us. Okay, that's where we aspire to be like them. How did they get there? The sutra will explain to you. Whether it's giving, upholding precepts, patience, vigor, dhyana, wisdom, or the power of skillful means, none is not replete.
布施、持戒、忍辱、精进、禅定、智慧及方便力，无不具足。
Okay, right here. Right here. It says, it mentions the 7 paramitas. Paramitas is a Sanskrit word that means arriving at the other shore. I don't use a lot of jargons in my lectures because I'm not that, smart. So I only want to minimize my vocabulary. And so, but these are some of the very important concepts in Buddhism. Paramita is that you do something and you learn how to do it well until you perfect it. When you perfect it, you know what happens? You become enlightened. Isn't that cool? So this is all, I want to remember all these things, and so paramita is very important things. There are, so all the Buddhist practices that we teach you, whether it's Chan, whether it's Pure Land, whether it's Tantric and so forth, they're based on these 6 paramitas, the 6 types of practices. For example, in order for you to practice Chan successfully, your Chan practice needs to have components of these 6 paramitas. Actually, it's based on the 6 paramitas. This is our secret of success. The reason that our people, meaning you, moi, you are successful is because you are able to integrate the 6 paramitas into your Chan practice or your Pure Land practice. Okay? It doesn't matter in Buddhism. Whoever practices Buddhism, he or she still needs to perfect the 6 paramitas. Okay? So your level of attainment depends on how well you do the 6 paramitas. All right? And so it's important for you to memorize these things. These are the few things you definitely want to memorize, the 6 paramitas. Okay? Eventually, one day, when you become a teacher yourself, then you say, how on earth am I going to help my students become better, learn better, do Chan better? Thank you very much. Then you understand that, for example, all those who in the Wei-Yang lineage, our Wei-Yang Chan lineage, they are there because even though they don't specifically say in the Chan training, in meditation training, whether it's Hinayana, Mahayana, and so forth, okay, it's your progression is based on the 6 paramitas. Okay, so what are they? Number 1, the 6 major ones. There are 10, but they're usually represented by 6, because when you practice the 6, that implies it includes all 10. Okay, but when you get more advanced, then we teach you about 7, 8, 9, and 10, because it makes it easier for you to, it gives you more detailed information to how to go to reach higher spheres of attainments. So what are the 6 major paramitas? Number 1 is giving. Just memorize. Don't need to ask why. Giving. Number 2, precepts. Number 3, patience. Number 4, vigor. Number 5, dhyana or samadhi. Number 6, wisdom. Memorize them. That's it. And if you can memorize this, you have tremendous blessings, let me tell you. This is a secret of success in life. I'm serious. This is incredible insights from the Buddha. Okay? And so he also mentioned here the skillful means or expedience is number 7. Okay? So for example, all the bodhisattvas, okay, all the people who became enlightened are thanks primarily to their excellence in practicing the 6 paramitas. And again, once you perfected your enlightenment, and you want to go higher, okay, then you have to learn about 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very quickly, 7 is expedience. This is when you learn how to help others. The first 6, 1 to 6, you basically reach a level of transcendental wisdom. You are an incredibly wise person in the world. Okay? However, in order for you to excel at helping others, including your own family, your own parents, the people who are important to you, okay? Now you need to go into 7, the training of 7. That's when you excel. You become so much adept at helping others. So that's why you see in Buddhism, we're so precise. Even after you have wisdom, okay? There's fundamental wisdom, which is included in the first 6 paramitas. But if you want to go more advanced and have a bigger impact in life, in the world, in the universe, you need to learn 7 through 10. We spell it out. We don't hide anything. Okay? Yes, Wei Mountain.
Master, so for the translation in here, they say the power of skillful means. So when you say 7, 8, and 9, does this power and mean is separate? Skillful means and the power, they are separate paramita, or they all together?
What power? Your question is unclear, please.
So the sutra text saying that whether it's upholding, giving upholding precept, patience, vigor, dhyana, wisdom, or the power of skillful mean. My question is this skillful mean is one thing and the power is a different thing?
No, it's semantics. It's the way that what it really means is that I just told you the 7th paramita is skillful means. But this sutra, what they happen to do is they happen to stress the power skillful means, which spells out for you that these bodhisattvas are very, very extraordinary beings. They have powers. Okay, so it says the power of giving, the power of holding precept, the power of patience, the power of vigor, the power of dhyana, the power of wisdom, and so forth. Okay, but they want it on purpose, make an understated statement. Emphasis is that, there's a power behind these paramitas. For example, low-level bodhisattvas, the power of giving, the power of precept, the power of patience are lower than the high-level bodhisattvas. Okay? Actually, one of them, number 9, is power, li. Okay? That's where you harness the ability to lift weight. Lift a lot of burden. Okay. Okay, and so it's that's like different. What differentiates boy from man, if you will, power. The ability to lift heavier, to carry a heavier burden. Okay, when you're a small boy, in Vietnam we carry this wooden thing in front where you have 2 buckets of water. In my time, now they don't do that anymore. Now you have toilets, but for the bodhisattvas, it's about carrying the burdens of the sufferings of living beings. Are you able to carry living beings on your back to safety. That's the bottom line. Okay? The secret in Buddhism is that when they talk about helping others, don't believe it. There's no such a thing as helping others. Helping others in Buddhism practically means that you put your boy in your shoulder and you carry him to safety. Because he's not going to listen to you. Okay? You have to carry the burden, their burdens, in order to bring them to safety. That's the only way. That's why eventually when you grow up, okay, then you have to develop the power to do that. So that's what the power here refers to. Does that answer your question, sir?
Master, does it mean that 32,000 bodhisattva here actually Mahasattva? Their level very high.
Of course, the Mahasattvas, otherwise they're not going to be mentioned in a sutra like Vimalakirti Sutra. We have so many bodhisattvas that why would the Buddha mention small-time bodhisattvas? Usually it's very big shots. Bodhisattva, they get to be mentioned in sutras. Okay? All right, anyone else? Okay, so there none that is not replete, meaning that they are actually mahasattvas, they're actually high-level bodhisattvas this is a key here, and that unfortunately is not explained in Master Sutra. Our study is based on the great Chinese master Tiantai, who is a patriarch in the Tiantai school of Buddhism in China. Master Sutra, very, very famous. And so he's extremely wise, and so he explained the sutra in Chinese, and we use ChatGPT to translate that into English, and it's pretty good job translating. It gets better and better, as a matter of fact. But what it says here, which is not explained by Master Sutra, is that what's implied here is when you are replete of the first 7 paramitas, 1, giving, 2, precepts of morality, 3, patience. Okay, these are very critical skills to have, or virtues, you will. Number 4, vigor. Number 5, samadhi. Number 6, wisdom. And number 7, skillful means or expedience. Okay, you repeat all that. That implies that you are a Mahasattva. You above that, above those 7. That's what's implied here. So that means that you are actually a bodhisattva of 8th ground, 9th ground, 10th ground, and so forth. Okay, so yes, this section here refers to the description in the sutra about bodhisattvas. The state of bodhisattva is actually the best of them, the Mahasattvas. Mahasattvas are 8, 9, and 10. Below that, we call them babies, baby bodhisattvas. Okay? So the Buddhists actually are very, very status-oriented. Okay? If you're small, we call you bodhisattva. You're a big shot, we call you Mahasattva. So when the Mahasattvas here, these beings, these big bodhisattvas go and attend the sutra lectures by the Buddha, this is fascinating. The Buddha, when the Buddha spoke Dharma, explained sutras, anywhere, okay, the Mahasattvas will, wherever they're doing, they drop everything and they would attend the lecture. And when they go, very much like Putin, a president, okay, they never go by themselves. They're always surrounded by bodhisattvas, okay, who carry, a cup of tea for them, and city cloth, sashes and so forth. All right, so the Mahasattvas are actually surrounded by Bodhisattvas, okay, who are their retinue. Okay, and then the next outer layer would be Arhats, okay, and then next layer would be like different beings. So they never go by themselves. Okay, they would need a very big airplane wherever they go. All right. Next, got 23. Having realized non-attainment, the patience and non-arisal of dharmas, they were able to accord with and turn the irreversible wheel.
待无所得，不起法忍，以能随顺，转不退轮。
All right. 124. Again, more details about the state of these bodhisattvas, these great bodhisattvas. They realized non-attainment. This is very subtle Buddhism. For us, ordinary people, we are seeking attainment. What kind of attainment? Fame, yeah? Wealth, riches, yes? Love, and so forth. So those are the things that we are seeking. When we get those, they say, I've arrived. I'm successful. Yeah? All right. When you cultivate, when you're tired of the world, of all the worldly success, and you said, is that all? Okay? You only so much money you can spend. There is only so many children you can have. Okay? So the next type of attainment for all of us is the spiritual side, not material anymore. If you can conquer the material world, and there will be a limit of how far you can go. And then once you reach a limit, okay, then you need to switch to the spiritual side, where you learn to open your wisdom. And that's where you find far greater happiness than the material world success, bar none. Okay? So what happened is that you go into the spiritual world, you pursue the non-materialistic things, okay, which present a much bigger challenge for you, much more interesting, much more rewarding for all of us. Okay? Then the next level of attainment for you is the state of arhatship or enlightenment. That's a level where you're able to extinguish the sense of a self. When you're an arhat, which is the peak of the Hinayana practices in Buddhism, you're free from the ego, meaning at that moment, you will become a lot happier than before. So much happier than before. That's something that really look forward to for most of you. Trust me. Okay? Remember, the successes in the material world are very hard to come by. Okay? But when you reach the peak, okay, the only way for you to seek further fulfillment, okay, then you have to switch to the spiritual side, okay, non-materialistic side. And that's why Warren Buffett, who's an enlightened being, by the way, not low level at all, amazingly, and that's what he convinced his protege, ex-protege, what's his name? Microsoft guy? Yeah, Bill Gates. Back then, Bill Gates was the richest guy in the world. So he befriended Mr. Buffet. Buffet? I'd like to call him Buffet, but that's kind of not polite. So Buffet convinced Mr. Gates to challenge himself more by switching to philanthropy. And it turns out Bill Gates found far greater joy in philanthropy than the pursuit of money. Okay, so that's a proof right there for you. Okay. He found the kind of joy he couldn't experience before. Yeah. But actually what he experienced is nothing yet. And that's how far he could go. That's why in Hinayana, if you have far more blessing than Mr. Bill Gates, then you'll be able to reach a level of no self. Okay? Then the joy you experience is incredible. I kid you not. It is so wonderful. It's so nice. And it's very, very addictive. Your suffering is because you cannot let go. You cannot not let go of your attachment. You're so attached to your family. Anyone? Huh? You're so attached to, of course, money. Who isn't? Okay? But it's because there's an ego who has attachments. Okay? So those attachments on one side give you joy and fun and happiness. On the other hand, it's unhappiness and is lurking around the corner because love often becomes hate. Anyone? Huh? And so forth. So you see, there's two sides of the coin. In happiness, there's unhappiness. Okay, it's love, there's hate lurking. And the seeds of love, in love, there are seeds of hate waiting to mature. And same thing, in hate, there's seeds of love waiting to mature. Okay? And so that's the nature of life. And so you cannot say, can I always be happy? It's not possible for us to always be happy or always be unhappy. Okay? And so that's why in happiness is always unhappiness, unhappiness always happiness. And because of the existence of the ego. The ego, have you noticed, the ego is very, very wishy-washy. Today, mommy is the dearest. Half an hour later, he screams out his lungs, the top of his lungs, say, I hate you, mommy, I hate you, mommy. Why you look at me, boy? You see, and that's the nature of our existence. The arhats are superior than us because they let go of the ego. There's no more self. That's when you begin to experience true joy, true happiness, free of the opposite. Got that? So it's called attainment of no self. That's a very, very tough deal to do because it's very hard to let go of what? Love. It's love. It's the most difficult thing to let go of in the world is love. For us men, of course. Okay? And so, yes, you too.
Thank you, Master. Welcome back from South Korea.
Thank you. You can stop saying that. Everyone says welcome back. Okay. Thank you very much. All of the future welcome back.
So it's from Diego Alfonso,
yes.
Emitofuo Master.
Yes.
The retinue that always follows the Mahasattvas, do they attend the sutra lectures of the Buddha based on their merits, or is the Mahasattva carrying them by the power of their merit?
Sorry? What's the question again?
Okay, question from Diego. He says, the retinue that always follow the Mahasattvas, do they attend the sutra lectures of the Buddha based on their merits, or is the Mahasattva carrying them by the power of their merit?
Very good, very good. Fair question. I don't know. Okay, I don't quite know because it's a different world from mine. Mine is here. You know, it's real to me. It's important to me. But in their world, in the Mahasattva world, the ones who are able to follow him, to attend the Buddha lectures, are the ones who are there to do what? To serve the Mahasattvas. That's their role. The devotion of these beings, the Bodhisattvas and the retinues of Mahasattvas, are unparalleled. It's unlike us. When, for most of you who come here because you're serving your own self-interest. We all know that, me included. For us, it's all self-interest. Okay? But for the retinues of the Mahasattvas, it's to serve the boss. It's very clear to them. They said, I'm here, okay? I'm here. So they stand there, okay, and kind of watch the Mahasattva on every single move. They say, oh, he's frowning. What did we do? What did we do? Oh my God. Okay? So they are very, very, very attentive to the Mahasattva. Okay? And that's the only reason for being there, is to attend to the bosses. And by the way, they stood there and watched the bosses, whether they get something from lecture or not, is not their priority for them. Does it help, Diego? Amigo? Okay. And so, it's a different world. We are driven by self-interest. At their level in the Mahasattva circles, it's driven by loyalty and devotion. It's a different world. Okay? All right, good question. So again, going back to this concept here. So the Arhats, Hinayana, top achievers, Hinayana top big shots, they reach fourth stage Arhat, and they attain this non-self. It's a very big achievement, let me tell you. And these people said, I experienced for the first time in my life this state of non-self. It is incredibly blissful. It's incredibly nice, much better than anything I ever experienced before. Okay, and therefore they, without knowing it, become attached to this concept called non-self. I achieved no self, and that's the source of my true joy and happiness. So when I go home and my wife yells at me, I'm still happy. Because she may think that she's yelling at me, but actually, to me, she's yelling at no one. See, men appreciate it. Secret joy. Okay? But secretly, they are attached to that concept that, I have achieved no self. And this is incredibly nice. They don't realize that there's a subtle attachment to the concept of no self. And the Bodhisattvas are different. They got to that level, and the Buddha would then take out a whip and say, whip him. Boy, keep going. Come on, girl, keep going. cha. Yeah. It doesn't sound right. The children here. Okay. No, actually, those are very nice. And the Buddhas would urge them on. The Mahasattvas would urge on their retinues. And they say, keep going, don't stop. There's even more wonderful things around the corner. Okay? And so these arhats who have no self, because of their loyalty, their devotion to the bosses, they move on. Out of devotion, out of loyalty to the boss, not because out of self-interest. That's the way of the Mahasattvas. The small bodhisattvas only don't quite understand it yet. But those who made it into being the retinues of Mahasattvas, they're trained, they're taught about loyalty and devotion. And they do it because they want to better serve the Mahasattvas, serve the boss. Because that's why it's fairly easy for the boss to urge them on, say, you can be better. Okay? And out of loyalty and devotion, they say, yes, I want to serve you better. So they keep on, they keep going, and they reach the level of non-attainment. That's 1G, first ground bodhisattva. Okay? That's why the concept of non-attainment. Non-attainment is called big enlightenment. It's nothing. When you reach a level of big enlightenment, there's nothing left. It's nothing whatsoever. How can there be any attainment? All right? Next, patience, non-arisal of dharmas. That's another jargon. The level of wisdom in Buddhism, a level of enlightenment. Enlightenment is the name of enlightenment. Another name for enlightenment is called patience or non-arisal of dharmas. Just memorize it. That's all. And one day you understand why. That one day when someone asks me, then I explain to you. If no one asks me, I will not explain to you. Moving on. They were able to turn the irreversible wheel. You see, these are Mahasattvas who speak Dharma. To turn the irreversible wheel is another jargon that means to speak Dharma, explains the Buddha Dharma to the listener, like right now. Except my wheel is irreversible. I can backtrack and wishy-washy. Okay? So, irreversible here, according to Master Sutra, implies no fear. He quoted the great Shastra, which is the wisdom Shastra in Buddhism, in Mahayana. It says, inside you're replete with wisdom, that's called power. Outside you use no nature, that's called no fear. That's Buddhism. Don't worry about it, okay? It's okay. Don't worry. Just to tell you that the Chinese Buddhism is extremely profound. And we can learn a lot from them. We don't need to reinvent the wheel, by the way. If you want to study Buddhism, understand Buddhism more, there's incredible treasure from a Chinese culture, in a Chinese language, in their Chinese Tripitaka. I would stick to Chinese Tripitaka. I would not even bother going into Indian Mahayana. Yeah. One language is enough. I would not even bother learning Sanskrit myself. Okay, life's too short. Instead of learning Sanskrit, go have fun with your son. Anyway, why irreversible? In irreversible, there are 3 types of irreversible, meaning you don't ever go back. Go back in position, go back in practice, and go back in mindfulness. Meaning what? These beings, this is very important. This is a very important concept for you, for your consideration. All these attainments, for example, you practice meditation, you reach 3rd dhyana. Okay, that means you are irreversible in position. That 3rd dhyana there, okay, you always be able to reach it without having ever to worry about falling off. Okay, this is the Chinese explanation is a little bit misleading in the sense like they're saying that when you reach 3rd dhyana you never lose it. It sounds like you have money, you never lose it. You put money in the stock market, you never lose it. Not, right? You put money in your house, you never lose it. You will lose it when you get divorced. Okay, so position here means that when you reach that level, in the future for you to reach that level is pretty easy. The only time where you don't lose your position is when you go to the Pure Land. In our world, you still can lose it, but you can reach it again fairly easily. You go to the Pure Land, you go to Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land, the West, to Bliss Pure Land, it's a different galaxy. When you reach those positions, you never lose it. That's a different world. Okay, but our world is slightly different. Okay, so that's why this is sometimes not the way it sounds. Number 2, in practice, meaning that whatever they practice, they will never lose the practice. Same thing, when we transmitted to you the 42 hands and eyes, that secret Dharma there, which is priceless. Okay, now you practice it, meaning that in the future, in a future lifetimes, you'll be able to receive transmission again from our network. I won't be around, but in the future, all the teachers in our network could be my disciples, could be my teachers, and so forth. They will, when you meet with them, the conditions are conducive to you receiving transmission again of the dharmas you've been practicing, whether it's chant, whether it's Pure Land, whether it's sutras, and so forth. All right? So that's why you never have to worry about these dharmas. Okay? And say, what are going to happen to me when after Master dies? After Master dies, what do I care? Good luck to you. Leave me alone. Please. Don't pray to me. Don't call me. I'm busy. Why do you think I die? Have you thought about it? It's just like, it's so stupid. My master disciple. When Master YongHua was about to die, he's very sick, my master, my Chinese master, before he died, he was very, very sick. And his disciples, to show their fidelity, filial piety to them, they would take a stick of incense like here, and burn it, and they stick in their arm. My mother, my late mother, she did that. She showed me proudly. Her arm is full of buttons from all these burns. It's children, just don't do this at home. Okay, and they're very proud. I say, you see, I make sacrifice for my master, and I say, ooh, that's gotta hurt a lot. He says, no, you do this and you put aloe vera. I said, wait. You hurt yourself and you put something to reduce the pain? No wonder the Master Trainer never came back. Anyway, Anyway, they always say these people are so selfish. He's sick. He needs to go. He needs to put an end to his pain from his diseases and illnesses. Going for a through dialysis every day for 2-3 hours. It's extremely painful when you get to that level. And they said, stick around to save us. With such kind of disciples, they could run away for all I care. Yes, 5.
Thank you, Master.
Don't be like that.
So, Master, you mentioned that this is not the right way to do the one of the universal bodhisattvas vow, like the 信佛注释, request the Buddha to stay in this world. So, what is the right way?
What's the right way?
To observe this vow, since the Buddha is not here with us.
I would bypass him. I would petition his boss. Send us a better one. They're open-minded. Master Shewa doesn't mind. Say, oh yeah, get a better one. He's not worried, you traitor, you betray me as soon. All I did to you, and this is all you asked for, a better? Someone to be better than me? Of course, he doesn't mind. That shows you have wisdom. If he's dying and you say, Master, come back, stay here, or after you go, please come back quickly. They all say that Master Shah is still back with us. I say, baloney. No, he's not. He's better things to do than take care and that be with you losers. I'm teaching you a much better way instead of asking him to stay on or to come back. Ask his boss to send a better replacement. Okay? So much for loyalty, huh? So much for devotion and loyalty, huh? Only when they're alive. You should be loyal and devoted. After they're dead, forget it. Move on. Do better. People. Okay, number 3, mindfulness. Mindfulness here is your mind is always proper. All right? And there's no way for me to explain to you why it's important, because none of your mind is proper. Believe me, one day when your mind is proper, then you know why it's important. Now it's not possible to explain to you. Lloyd, don't keep on laughing like that. Oh, God. Okay, accord with is about 3 accordances, according with the Buddha, according with the principle, according with the roots and conditions. What is he talking about? You accord. This is a Mahayana concept where, unlike my president, wait a minute, I promise not to go into politics because I'm leaving in a couple of days. I'm going to become Democrat again. But as long as I'm here, we are friends. We will suffer together. Okay. I asked for some orange cream to put on my face, and you decide to ignore my request. Never mind. Okay, let's move on. This is a Mahayana concept where you don't ever force the issue. You accord with conditions. That's the nature of wisdom. Okay, that is, there are 3 kind of accordances you need to keep in mind. You accord to the Buddha, meaning that Buddhas are always what? Finish my sentence. Buddhas are always. What is that? You look funny with the thing on top. Never mind. See, that's the nature of the sutra lectures. If it's not fun, then the kids will not come. That applies to you. What are you looking at? Okay. Yeah. So why do you want to accord with Buddhas? Because? Yes. 5.
Because the Buddha always have your best interest in your mind.
Don't you hate it when they steal your answers? At least you should have said, I think the Buddha are always right. That's my first answer. And then I would wait for you. Yeah, Buddha's always right. We said, Buddhas is not about being right. Buddhas are about what's good for us. What's different from us. For us is what's good for us. Yeah? For Buddhas is that it's good for you. Don't do it again. Okay, so that's why you want to quote the Buddha, because when you are in sync with the Buddha, then it's to your benefit. Okay? Believe. Okay? Now I sound so Catholic. Number 2, accord with principles. In case you don't believe in Buddhas, okay, the principles of the universe, such as cause and effect, does not need Buddhas. It's a universal law. If you do good, you get good results. You do bad, you don't get bad results. Okay, that principle there is universally true everywhere. Anytime. All right? So that's why you want to be accord with the proper principles. Principles here refers to proper, not just any principle. Okay? Number 3, accord with roots and conditions. This refers to remember the mission, impossible, is to help living beings. All right? In order to help living beings, you need to accord with the roots and conditions, meaning that you need to accord with what they are capable of absorbing. Okay? When they're children, they can only absorb so much. Now, the roots refers to the ability to absorb nutrients, absorb water. All right? Without the roots, you cannot absorb things that are necessary for your growth. Is that clear? Buddhism, you see, you have these very simple words they're tremendously insightful. Do you want to help your children? You want to make sure that you help them have the proper roots, develop the proper roots. And with the proper roots, they can be on their own, absorb good things, and prosper on their own. Okay? Otherwise, you keep on calling, Ma, Daddy. He thinks I'm talking about him. Look at, they say, oh, see, Master is still talking about me. You self-centered boy, still a big ego. You, as you grow older, your ego only grows bigger, which is hard to imagine. Anyway, so the root is you need to, from the giving side, look at the roots and see they can absorb so much water, they can absorb so much nutrients. You give them too much, you could kill them. Yeah? So that's why the Bodhisattva needs to accord with your roots. Teach you so much. Okay? And not waste their times and not harm the receiver. And conditions. Condition refers to you know, the miscellaneous stuff, the conditions. Is it raining or is it dry weather? Is it hot weather, humid, and so forth? Okay? Whether it's climate change or no climate change, as we Republicans believe. 126. Skillfully comprehending the Dharma marks, they knew the faculties of living beings.
善解法相，知众生根。
127. This is the nature of the wisdom. When you have wisdom, then you'll be able to develop proper powers to utilize your wisdom. Okay, they are able to skillfully understand the Dharma marks. What are Dharma marks? What is this referring to? Okay. Dharma marks. Dharma here refers to, it's another jargon. You heard the word of Buddha, Dharma, and Dharma, and so forth. Dharma here is another jargon. I hope that you will memorize as well. Dharma, it means anything. Dharma actually is a concept where your mind, what your mind conceives of, is called a Dharma. The mind thinks of a car, therefore the car is a Dharma. The mind thinks of food, food is a Dharma. The mind thinks of love, love is a Dharma. That's all it means. Whatever the mind thinks of is a Dharma. Mind here thinks of Dharma, 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 that's all. And it's very, very powerful concept that you can appreciate later. The more that you cultivate, the more your samadhi level increases, it gets higher. You understand why it's such a profound thing. Okay? Don't worry about it now. Okay? These Mahasattvas, they're able to skillfully comprehend the Dharma marks. Okay? 善解法相. So it means that they're able to see things extremely clearly. Remember, they are Mahasattva Bodhisattvas because they have wisdom. They have transcendental wisdom. They have real wisdom that we don't have. That's why when they look at things, they don't get confused by things. Unlike us, we easily get confused by appearances. Yeah? So, for example, my disciple, I have disciples who, some of them have the misfortune of sitting next to me at lunch. And invariably, all of them, okay, they go through this shock of seeing what I eat, which is they're not supposed to do that. Okay, in Buddhism, you're not supposed to look at someone else's bowl. When you eat, at the bowl, you sit close to each other when they're here and the bowl is right here to you, you're supposed to stop right here, But because we sit so close to each other, in Korea, land is very expensive. So we pack people like meat. Okay? And so they sit next to me and they see what I'm eating. So I'm on a diet. I'm working out, so I'm more focused on my muscles instead of my fat tissues. Because I hope to God, with God's help, that I will never become a fat monk. Never. That's why I go to Korea, I lose a few pounds, I come back, I gain a few pounds, I go to Korea again. So it balances out. People come back, I came back in the airport, they look at me, Master, you lost weight. Of course. I told myself, of course, what do you think? Why do you think I go to Korea? How do I got there? How did I get there? What? Dharma? What does it have to do with fat? God, I confuse myself. Yeah, that's right. Oh, he's listening. Thank you so much. Wait a while, then they don't listen anymore. They say, ha, 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 and they think of something else. And when they hear someone laugh, ha, 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 ha. Okay, and so what happened is people get confused. They're confused by appearances. So I would sit next to these people. Okay, all the monks, usually it's monks, and unless you're a woman, you cannot sit to me unless you're enlightened. So it's like a pretend. So if we rotate the nuns so that everyone thinks that they are enlightened. I shouldn't be telling all my my secrets, trade secrets. Anyway, so they have a misfortune. I have a problem is I only want to build, I need protein, not carbs. So I will eat very little rice, and then the rest is, vegetables and protein. And so every single monk or nun who sat next to me at lunch, they would know, they start eating less rice and and eating less and less and less. They didn't realize because I'm on a diet because I'm worried about my weight. And not only that, the misfortune they also have a problem. They worry that I can read minds. Somehow they whisper to each other, Master can read minds. I said, yeah. I never corrected them, for the record, okay? And so they said, when you sit next to Master, okay, Master gave us a trick already. When you see him, you get close to him, think of good thoughts. Whatever you're thinking, drop it. Think good thoughts for a while. So then he's confused. He said, then he can think, well, does he have good thoughts? How come good thoughts and bad thoughts? Which one is he? Okay, so they would have like good thoughts like reciting a mantra, Buddha's name, and so forth. Oh, these poor people. How we get to Dharma marks again? How do I get back to Dharma marks? Anyway, eventually we get back there. So they are not confused by the Dharma. Dharma marks. Remember, Dharma is just anything that the mind conceives of, and because the mind conceives of everything in the world, right? So that's why everything is a Dharma. Anything is a Dharma. Yes, 7. Finally, 7 has a question. That's pretty fast.
Master, I just want to understand this. So does that mean Dharma is the reality you see based on your own level of consciousness?
Dharma is basically a mind object of the mind. Whatever the mind thinks of, that's a Dharma. Okay? It's important because eventually, how do you become enlightened? You become enlightened by stopping your mind from thinking. Right now, you're confused because you think too much. And you cannot stop your mind. So the training in Buddhism, the secret is about teaching you how to stop the mind from working. When your mind stops working, that's when you see much clearer. Okay? And when you see much clearer, that's what it's meant by Dharma marks. When you can see Dharma, marks are characteristics. Is it red? Is it short? Is it tall? Is master fat? All are Dharma marks. Okay? And the nature of wisdom is that you see all these things, people smiling at you, oh, Master, I'm your disciple forever. If you have real wisdom, you know she's lying through her teeth. All right? That's why it helps sometimes. All right? So that's why they are able to not be confused by externals, by appearances. Come again? Yeah. This Apple AI is really, really disappointing. They knew the faculties of living beings. Faculties is one of, this refers to a very, very important skill of the bodhisattvas. They're able to understand and know what living beings are capable of doing, of absorbing. Okay? And therefore, once they know, then they are able to decide whatever method. Dharma here now, Dharma with capital D is a Buddhist method, Buddhist practice, or Dharma door. What Dharma or the proper medicine for the appropriate sickness, appropriate suffering they have to resolve it. Okay? Don't worry about it. They keep on harping about it, the Buddhists. They're obsessed about this. Okay? Yes. You come back to it. 128. They sheltered the great assembly and attained fearlessness. 129. These bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, sheltered the great assembly. Okay? Again here, it's not stressed enough. One of the salient characteristics of Mahayana practices is the great assembly. We have a bunch of people together, and we practice together. They call it community. My Shanghai disciples say, oh, we have such a wonderful community. Okay? And so, yes, it's a very important concept. The great assembly is that you put a bunch of people together, it doesn't matter. Anyone will be put together and you practice together. That's called the great assembly. We prefer to do that as part of our spiritual practice instead of practicing on our own. Like the Hinayana, they hide away, they go and live in isolation. We prefer not to do that. It's far faster, so much faster to practice in a great assembly environment than to be on your own. Okay? It's only rare occasions should you go into solitude and isolation. Okay? It's not optimal. There's a use for it, but it's not the best. Okay? They sheltered the great assembly. Another concept here. What these mahasattvas do when they bring these group of people together to practice, let's say, do chant, listen to lecture, do Pure Land, recite mantras and so forth, to bow and so forth, okay? A group of people doing together, okay? They symbolically, on top of this great assembly, there's a canopy where it's like a roof over everyone. so that everyone is under the protection of the canopy. And that's what this is referring to. They shelter the Great Assembly. So when you engage in very serious and very extremely beneficial spiritual practices for you, what happens is that your enemies, the people who are jealous of you, the people you owe debts to from your past karmas, they would come and harass you, would obstruct you, would distract you so that you cannot run away. And so that's why in spiritual cultivation, in these spiritual practices, even like right now, when we explore the sutra together, study the sutra together, there's a big canopy on top of us, okay, that providing protection and shelter for us. This is a funny thing to me is that they don't talk about it that often anymore. The monks and nuns don't talk about this anymore. But this tells you right here in the sutra, it tells you that they have to shelter the Great Assembly for the Great Assembly to be able to practice, to cultivate and make progress. Without the shelter, they cannot. It's very difficult for them to make progress. So if you practice on your own, you're missing out on this sort of shelter, this sort of protection. And the Great Assembly is where you get help from all directions. Don't be surprised that the person who sits next to you, she may not look like it, but she's actually a bodhisattva who possesses her. Right now, nothing happening because the bodhisattva is asleep. So you never know. Okay, it's fascinating. Okay, and so the Great Assembly here, you get so much help in so many directions, in so many ways that you have no clues how you're being helped. Whereas you practice by yourself like the Hinayana people love to do, then you're missing out on so much help, so much more multidimensional aspect of cultivation. That's why the Great Assembly environment is so much more conducive to your progress and your spiritual path. This is Mahayana secret. We do everything in the Great Assembly. Preferably. Would you believe it? I went to Korea and we did a Wan Yin Chi there. We recited Wan Yin Bodhisattva's name for 7 days. First day I didn't know what to say, so I said, well, I need to say something just because I still have another hour left. So I said, you guys, you know what? This time I think you should all be sleeping in the Buddha hall. I didn't know what to say, so I grabbed something in the air and said, okay, sit sleeping. And guess what? That night, like a dozen people, slept in the Buddha hall, sit sleeping. Too much. Okay, and so this great assembly environment is a fantastic Dharma. Let me tell you. And attain fearlessness. It's because this Mahasattvas, they're very kind, they're very compassionate. What happened to Vicky? She went to afflict her mother? Is that a Buddhist thing? So he had to go afflict her. So he has to go afflict her. Okay. So anyway, it's funny to me because in a Chinese environment of practice, like where I learned from my Chinese master, or the Taiwanese temples, or Vietnam temples, or Korean temples, and so forth. I brought my disciples to a bigger Korean temple because my temple in Korea is so tiny, okay? And it's embarrassing. Everyone sleeps in the Buddha hall, which what we call Buddha hall is a room like this with no statues. We are called in Korea, okay? Anyway, I admit it to you. We actually are called in Korea. Here we for real. So we went to a Jeju Island, which is a resort, very, very famous, very popular resort in Korea. Air is fantastic, beautiful, clean, and and then we went to this temple of an acquaintance of ours, a very good sunim, very, very popular sunim. And we have a lot of people attending. They flew in from China and flew in from mainland, and a lot of our people came, okay, to do the assembly. I forgot. What was it? Huh? Wanyin-chi? 3-day meditation. Okay, yeah, and so we cultivated and went out to lunch, and the lunch hall has signs everywhere. Do not speak while eating. Keep quiet. It's very traditional Buddhist environment, you don't speak in the dining hall, okay? But it turns out it's as loud as a restaurant. And the host, he was, that sunim, he was so upset. He yelled at them, he called them and said, orientation, you hear, you don't, these are the rules of the temple, make sure you obey them. And they said, yes. Then when it comes to lunchtime, everyone was so happy and laughing and talking and gabbing away. And after 2 days, the guy gave up. He made faces, he was very unhappy with me and my monks and nuns. But what can we do? Our disciples tell us what to do, not the other way around. It's shocking for these people, okay? And so, but what I observed, what I like about it, I encouraged it actually. At first, when I first started, I also did it the Chinese way or the traditional Buddhist way, where you don't speak and you're mindful what you chew. And Master Thich Nhat Hanh, God save his soul, he's dead already, right? He said, when you eat, you're supposed to chew 25 times before you swallow. That's mindfulness. It's very clever. You count 25. How can you on earth can you talk to someone? Was I 24? Or was it 23? You cannot swallow until it's 25. So you see, it's very difficult to concentrate on the conversation when you're counting at the same time. Very clever, Dharma there. And so in our temples, we let everyone talk, because otherwise they don't come anymore. Yeah, things you do because you're desperate, Because at first, when I first came to a temple in the Blue Mountain Temple there in Southern California, most of them Vietnam people, half Chinese, but they speak Vietnamese. Okay, and Vietnam people, they have this problem. Most Vietnamese temples, one monk per temple. They get a job somewhere and they buy a house. Okay, get a mortgage, buy a house, and then on the weekdays they work. On weekends they open. They said now the temple is open. Okay, and so as you can see, there are so many one single monk or nun temples in Southern California that the Buddhist disciples have many choices. So the attitude is that you're not nice to me, I'm going to go somewhere else. Well, people respect me, appreciate me. So that's the origin of my desperation. So allow, no holds barred in lunchtime, so they gap and gap and gap. And it turns out, over time, as they began to make progress for some reason, what they did is they shared kindness and compassion during lunch. I noticed that. Then the old-timers then take the new-timers under their wings. Okay? And so they, especially the Koreans, they tell each other, just, watch out for master. When master goes like this, you're in trouble. Run. That kind of thing. So they gave all the tips. That's how they survived all these years. So I know I joke a lot, but my point here is that there's a difference in approaches. When you keep quiet during lunch, then you work on your concentration and mindfulness. Okay? We don't do that because we want you to work on your kindness and compassion. You're sharing good things, and and a lot of people whine. They think, they pretend it's kindness and compassion. Actually, it's whining. Master is so mean these days. I don't know why. He's kind of gaining weight as well. Anyway, so it's kind of nice. I hope it won't change, because after I'm dead, keep gabbing away. Okay. Blessings, wisdom, and shelter, and canopy. Blessing and wisdom. Blessings here refers to that canopy there, okay, is symbolic for, actually it's a real canopy there for you, but you cannot see. And it comes from the blessings from the Bodhisattvas, who's able to provide protection for you. Okay, if you have the spiritual eye, you can see a canopy up there, right now. Okay, as from the West, from the blessings. Okay, wisdom here is to selectively allow enough of a challenge for you, enough of your troublemakers to come and harass you, to kind of spur you on. Okay, but not overwhelm you. Okay, and so that's how you attain fearlessness. The Mahasattvas, the more they work, the more they help living beings, the stronger their fearlessness. They're afraid of nothing. Nothing whatsoever. To me, it's amazing. The Buddhist wisdom is amazing. It's not the big things. To me, that fear, most people don't realize that we all have this hidden fear, yes? That we don't want to admit. We have a lot of fear. Fear of what? Rejection. You don't like me anymore. Okay? And as long as you have any type of fear, these various types of fear, it is in the way. It prohibits your development of your wisdom. To me, it's fascinating. I never realized it until I learned Buddhism. I thought always it's about smarts, it's about luck, about being in the right place at the right time, and so forth, having the right connections, marrying into money, and so forth. But no, it's that fear is a showstopper. That inner fear, the hidden fear that you are afraid of others to find out, okay, is what stops you from having real wisdom. The Hinayana people don't know that. Why? You want proof? I learned very early on, okay, that you go Hinayana temple, you want to offer a monk some food. The monk always has this cloth with him. And as soon as you say, Master, can I offer you this? Okay. And the monk will say, shh. And you put that thing right there, and he would, especially if you're a woman. If you're a man, it's okay, no problem with men. But you're a woman, you want to offer me as a monk anything, you have to put it on a cloth here, about 20 feet away from me. And I roll up my cloth so that you cannot get close to me and tempt me. So what does it tell you? They're afraid of women. How can you have wisdom when you're afraid of women? Agree? You marry... never mind. Let's not go there. You marry her. You have no fear. I would never. I'm joking a lot, you know. We're friends. Tell her. Okay? So it's fascinating to me because people don't realize that they have these hidden fears. They're afraid that people will find out. So they do everything, right? To make sure no one else knows you're afraid. And without realizing when you do that, you're so proud of yourself. They're so proud. I'm so clever. No one knows my weakness, right? And they're so proud of it. And then they don't realize when doing that, the more you excel doing that, the more stupid you become. Only in Mahayana you learn about it. You think you can outsmart others by covering up your weaknesses? Okay? Because you're afraid they find out, you cannot open your wisdom. Tell me you heard of it before. Only in Mahayana. You look so serious. Is there anything? Is there a problem here, ma'am? Okay, thank you for your attention. Time is up. Thank you.